So in this video we're going to be looking at exercise 1 in booklet 4, and you can see here that we have these two pieces that fit together, and this is a really important junction here in your journey through SketchUp. The reason for that is that you're starting to now build products that consist of more than one part, so you're going to be putting more than one part together. And obviously then there are some things that we need to realize about that. So I'm going to start off by just going through the process of building this one. And we have a box 600 by 200. So 600, 200 is how we get started with that. And I've got this kind of joint here that goes off to the side. As you can see here, it's in two separate pieces, but I'm going to draw it all as one. So I'm going to bring myself in another guideline from this point, and just like I've shown you before, it snaps to the middle. And what I'm also going to do is do the same thing over here in this direction and make sure that it's at the halfway point. I need two more, one 200 in from the side, and another one 200 in from this side. And so I can then take my pencil tool, draw between those 2 points and then those 2 points. And then finally I'm going to get one more guideline, drag it over here by 200, and take a line from that corner to that corner, that corner to that corner, and finally what should happen is this surface should now become one, and I then need to just get rid of this line right here. Okay, so that's my basic shape. Now all I need to do is push pull it up. So that goes by 200, and again 200. Right, this all looks fine, except for the fact that if I wanted to separate these two parts to show kind of an exploded view, then I can't do it. Because I can select this surface, or I can double click to select the surface plus the lines around the outside, or I can triple click and that selects the whole thing. So there's no way that I can select just this separate piece in order to move it. Now what I could do, I could try at least, is to use the selection technique which I've showed you before, where you can just drag a box from right to left and you get the dotted line and it selects everything it touches. That seems to have done the trick, except for the fact that when I try to move it, and the move tool is here, what happens is everything else comes with it. So they're kind of stuck together. So what do I do? Well, the way to fix this is by using what we call components. So let me just skip back a few steps. Okay, so now I just did Command Z or Control Z on a Windows machine just to go back. Now what I can do is one more step in between that will allow me to make these as separate parts. So I'm going to take my Move tool, and I'm going to hit my Option key, or that I think is your Alt key on a Windows machine, and you can see next to my cursor there's a plus sign has appeared, and now I can drag and make a copy. I'm going to do that again, hit the Option key on my keyboard, and now I can pull that off to the side. Now I have those two pieces that I've drawn. I've drawn them together so I know they're going to fit perfectly to each other, but now I can delete that because I now have those two separate parts. So let's do that again. 200, 200, and there I have my two separate parts. Now I mentioned the word components earlier on, and that is this button right here. Now to make these fit together but not stick together, I need to make each one into what we call a component in SketchUp. It's the most important thing. So triple click is going to allow me to select that whole piece, and then I'm going to click on this button here and then this window will appear. You can just call it component 1, that's fine. Basically everything here is, you can just leave, just click create, and do the same thing here. Triple click to select the whole thing. Click on the make component button. Now it's component 2 because it already knows there's a component 1. Click create. So now let's have a look what happens. Now that these two are separate components, what I can do is now pick this piece up and move it. Now that will fit together, kind of, but it's hard to kind of make it fit in the right place. You can see it goes together because they've been drawn at the same time. What I need to do is find a point where I can pick it up, and you can pick it up by endpoints or midpoints on lines, and then find another point to make that snap onto. So for this, I'm going to show you really close up. I'm going to pick that endpoint there in my component, and I'm going to drag it, snap it onto that position there where two lines meet, and now I have an exact fit where they fit together perfectly. And most importantly, I can now, if I need to, separate those two parts again.